Hey guys, Thunder E here, and I have an interesting video for you. We're going to find out which is the best Android smartphone for taking photos in low light conditions. So basically the best low light camera on Android. I have 5 devices here, and I think these are probably the 5 best Android smartphone cameras currently on the market right now in 2016. So anyway, this is a 2016 battle of sorts. Now, we always talk about low light conditions. I definitely talk about it a lot, and this is a good way to actually judge and see which actually does the best job. So I have Voltboy here, who will be helping me out as my subject for this capture session, and I will be taking photos of him in different low light conditions, at least very low light conditions, so you get a good idea. But let's take a look at each of these devices. Now, the first device is the Huawei P9, which sports dual Leica cameras in the rear. They are 12 megapixel cameras. They have an f-stop of 2.2, 27 millimeters. This thing should take some interesting images with dual flash at the back. Now, the next device is the Nexus 6P, which of course is the reigning stock Android device that everybody loves. 12.3 megapixel camera. F-stop is 2.0, laser autofocus, dual LED flash at the back there, and of course records up to 4K in terms of video. The next device is the HTC 10, which sports a 12 megapixel ultra pixel camera. F-stop is 1.8, 26 millimeters, OIS, laser autofocus, dual LED flash. Records up to 4K with this camera, and should be a low light competitor. Next device is LG's entry into the market with the LG G5. Now, the G5 here sports a dual camera at the back. One is a 16 megapixel shooter with f-stop of 1.8. The other is 8 megapixels, f-stop of 2.4. Laser autofocus, OIS. This should be a really strong competitor here. And the final device is the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, which has a 12 megapixel dual pixel camera. It's got OIS built into it, f-stop of 1.7. So now let's go to our first set of images. Now, we shot this indoors, and this is with the Huawei P9. Now, the P9 you can see here captures, of course, Voltboy pretty well, but you can see it's still dark and shaded around. As we move over to the Nexus 6P, Nexus 6P gives us a little bit more light of the image, but you can see it's losing focus, and also it's more grainy in the image. Now, this is the LG G5 with a dual camera capture. It takes in more of the scene, more light, but less focus on the image and more on the surroundings. Now, if we go with the single camera on the LG G5, you can see how well it picks up lighting in the background, the image. It's pretty clear and sharp. You can see Voltboy pretty well on this in the shot. Now, the HTC 10 also does a good job in adding more light, but you can see that there's a lot of artifacts in the image around itself, even though there's some good focus, but still a lot of artifacts. Now, the Galaxy S7 Edge does a good job in giving you a focus on the image, but it has a yellow tint to it, so more than what the environment actually provides with it, but it still does a good job there. Looking at all the images there, I have to say, I think LG in this environment with some lighting in the background does the best job of both lighting as well as image, with HTC and then Samsung following up. Now, going to a much darker environment, we have the P9 here. This is outdoors with some lighting. You can barely see Voltboy, but you can see the lighting from the buildings in New York City. The Nexus 6P gives you more focus on Voltboy, but you can see there's a lot of artifacts, a lot of granulation in the image there. It feels like, it's gone through a wash, so to speak. Now, the LG G5 in the dual camera mode does capture a lot more of the surrounding. You can see Voltboy, although he looks far, but you can also see the lighting behind. And then if you move over to LG's single camera here, which brings us really in focus to Voltboy itself, the lighting in the background is kind of blurred out, but more focused on him, and there's some granulation. There's granulation in the image, but there's some good focus on there. Now, as we move over to the HTC 10, HTC 10 does this thing where it kind of focuses on the image and gives you like darker edges around, so you can clearly see Voltboy there, but there's more granulation on that image, but it's still a nice shot altogether. And the Galaxy S7 really highlights what Samsung does in post-processing of images here. It's really bright, it's really clear. You can see Vault Boy, but the background is really granulated. If you're just focused on the image, it does a good job for you there. So in this condition where there is some lighting in the outdoors, I think the Galaxy S7 Edge does the best job there with the HTC 10 following up and the LG G5 coming in third, and everybody kind of stays behind. Now this is in almost pure darkness with just lighting from the background far away. The P9 does a good job in highlighting the lighting on the buildings around, but you really can't see Vault Boy, just his outline there. With the Nexus 6P, a lot of granulation in that image. You can see more Vault Boy, but then again, everything feels like it's gone through a serious wash here, and even the lighting behind isn't as focused as it is. Now, the LG G5, you get more of the background, the dual camera shot. The lighting in the background looks pretty nice and cool, but Vault Boy is also barely visible except his outline. You can't see any details on the character. Now, the LG G5 single camera shot gives you a better look at Vault Boy. The background images look really good, but the focus on Vault Boy himself is actually not that clear. HTC 10 does a better job trying to focus on Vault Boy himself, so you can see his smile, but everything, you start getting some lens flare and light bloom at the backgrounds, which kind of taints the image if you're trying to capture that. And the Galaxy S7 Edge tries to capture Vault Boy. You can see him the clearest there, but everything is really granulated in this. This is not the best lighting condition to take any photo anyway. I just wanted to see how well it does in probably a really dark condition, and you can see how each device actually does. Now as we know quite well, the main focus of having a low light camera is really taking photos in situations like this, where you know, if you're in a club or a lounge, or even if you're at home, you want to actually be able to capture without using the flash. It might actually take away from the image. So we set this up, and we've taken a couple images in this situation. All right, so the first image here from the Huawei P9. You can see it clearly captures me. You can see me right there. The dual Leica cameras do a good job of capturing me, but there's a lot of dark areas around the edges of the image, and it feels very grainy. Now, the Nexus 6P is brighter, but also there's more particles and artifacts in the image, so it's much grainier. I prefer the darker image from the Huawei P9. Now, the LG G5 dual camera does a much better job in capturing more of the environment, and also it's actually brighter and lighter, but this is not probably the best option to go with the G5. The G5 single camera shot, you can clearly see me, you can clearly see the details of my t-shirt, the background with the headphone wall, you can see me smiling. It really does a good job in capturing it in that low light situation. Now, moving over to the HTC 10, the HTC 10 does a decent job. You can see me clearly also, but you can see there's also more darkness around the edges and some artifacting around in the image. And as we look at the Galaxy S7 Edge, the S7 Edge does a good job in capturing me fully, also brings some lighting into it, but there's actually more yellow tints to it and some darkness around the right edge of the image. Overall, looking at all these images, I would say LG G5 does the best here in this situation, followed by the Galaxy S7 Edge, and then I will actually say the HTC 10 as we move forward. So all these devices do a decent job to good job depending on the situation, how you put them in low light. But I think the top three are the HTC 10, the LG G5, as well as the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. Those are your three devices I think do the best job in capturing low light as a whole, low light photography as a whole. I think those three do a fantastic job. In certain situations, LG G5 I think does a better job with capturing humans like me, and in much more darker situations I think the Galaxy S7 Edge does a better job there. The HTC does a fine balanced job all around. So there you have it, guys. That is it. And also thank you, Vault Boy, for helping me out with this video. So if you guys have any thoughts or any comments, or what do you think is the best low light Android camera? I had a hard time picking one, so I selected those three, and I think those three do a fantastic job in any situation possible for you to give you the best low light photography. My personal preference is the Galaxy S7 Edge, but the LG G5 is something that I will also use. So if you have any questions or any comments, guys, let me know. Otherwise, if you're watching this video for the first time, definitely hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, lower right hand corner of your screen or in the description below. This is Thunder E saying thank you very much, and always enjoy your entertainment.